Okay, ano yung tool na ginagamit natin when we are rendering prenatal care, lalong-lalo na sa community? It's it's a color pink record book when we are doing prenatal
HD.
care. Yes, please go ahead.
HD.
It's the HBMR, opo. It's the home-based mother's record. Okay, lipat lang natin yung ating pen. Nasa kabilang monitor pala. Okay. It's the home-based mother's record book. Okay po. Ayan, home-based mother's record or HBMR. So ito ay color pink po yan ha, color pink. So ito, meron tong apat na panel. Yes, Carla, this is the HBMR. So panel 1, panel 2, panel 3, and panel 4. So usually ang tinatanong sa board exam, itong panel 2 na nagko-contain daw ng danger sign. So that's the panel 2. But to discuss it, yung panel 1, tatandaan laging maternal information ang nandoon. So maternal information such as OB history, demographics, present health illness. And then yung panel 2 naman po ay yung presenting pregnancy. So it's all about the present pregnancy. So dito yung LMP, EDD, prescriptions, laboratories, and risk factors or the danger signs. Now, the panel 3 is the conditions and actions made by referral, and then panel 4 is the postpartum care family plan. So, next is, ilan naman ang ating visit according to WHO? Prenatal visits. How many prenatal visits? According to
8.
WHO, 8. According to WHO, 8. No? Sa DOH, tama sila
4.
Ma'am Gail at Eds, 4.
4.
Yan. So sa DOH, okay, yung old guideline natin sa maternal natin, ano, ay 4. Okay? So sa WHO, 8 po na prenatal visit. Common board question, lumabas na din po yan. Okay? Now, during prenatal visit, we take the client's history, we do the physical examination. So in a physical examination, of course, kasama dyan yung vital sign. And ano yung pinaka-importanting vital sign? It's the blood pressure. Tatandaan, most important vital sign sa pagbubuntis po ha, ay blood pressure. Okay? So paano tayo magte-take? So according to the guidelines, no, let the mother rest for approximately 15 minutes. So blood pressure reading varies with position. Kapag sitting, supine, and left lateral. So of course, ano po ang ating very common when doing the prenatal checkup? Very common position. Is it the sitting, supine, or left lateral?
Left.
Sitting. Okay, sitting, anak. Sitting is the common position kapag nagte-take tayo ng blood pressure. Di po ba pag nagjo-duty tayo, pinapahiga ba natin ng pasyente kapag nagba-blood pressure, di ba? Yon, sitting. Okay. So tatandaan nyo, between these two, ano ang um, pinaka-okay, pinaka-reliable na position para mag-take ng blood pressure? Sitting position po, ha? Sitting position. Bakit? Ito, rationale dyan. So, sitting position, blood pressure is slightly higher. Okay? So, this is the highest reading of the three positions. No? So, kaya ito yung pinaka-reliable na reading. Now, supine, reading position. Now, supine, intermediate reading po ito. And then left lateral naman is the lowest reading among the three positions. Okay? Now, of course, along the physical examination, no? Other than the vital signs, abdominal assessment. So when we assess the abdomen of the pregnant woman, anong ginagawa natin? We take what we are taking, the fundic height. Ano pa? So we take the fundic height and we do very good, Carla, we do the Leopold's maneuver. Why do we do the Leopold's maneuver? Maraming dahilan. Pero ang pinaka-core is to know ano pinaka-core ng Leopold's maneuver? If we are going,
Position.
yes, very good. The presentation and the position of the fetus. Okay? The presentation and the position of the fetus. So again, during physical examination, ito po ang gagawin natin. So complete history and physical examination, taking the blood pressure and other vital signs, taking the maternal weight, doing pelvic or cervical examination when needed. Kailan nga ba tayo sa cervical examination?
38 weeks.
38 weeks, very good. Okay, 38 weeks. Please do mind that mga anak ha. Itong mga tinatanong ko sa inyo na paulit-ulit, yan ay talagang bonus sa atin yan, lumalabas talaga sa board exam. So sa fundal height naman, ano, ito ay expressed in what unit? Anong measure unit?
Centimeters po.
Centimeter, very
Centimeter.
good. And then, ano ang gamit nating tool for taking the fundal height?
Tape measure.
Tape measure, very good. And of course, ano ang ating landmark when we are taking the fundal height? Landmark. Anong ating landmark?
Symphysis to fundal.
Symphysis pubis to the fundus, no? Ano ba yung fundus? What is the fundus?
Top of the uterus.
Very good, top of the uterus. Is that EDS?
Yes, ma'am.
Very good ka, no? Okay. Well, of course, very good din na nasa chat. Of course, very good din kayong lahat na umattend, pero mag-participate, ha? Top of the uterus, okay? Now, we also have to check, no? We also have to check the fetal heart rate and the fetal position by doing, sino nagsabi nun kanina? Si Carla? Leopold's maneuver, di ba? Leopold's maneuver. So, ilan ang ating phases sa Leopold's maneuver?
4.
Ayan, may 4
Four.
phases tayo, okay? So, saan ba natin para malaman natin yung fetal heart rate? Leopold's maneuver what?
2.
2.
Very good. Leopold's maneuver 2, di ba? We are finding the anong nilolocate natin para
Fetal
mahanap
Fetal back.
very good fetal back. Okay, very good. Dami na. Dami ng points sa board exam. Okay. Now, next. All right. So, abdominal assessment, of course, kailangan ng position, supine position with both legs flexed. Okay? Or di kaya naman, sasabihin supine position tapos slightly flexed. Slightly flexed, okay? Or, ayan. So, o kaya naman, sasabihin ay, anong pinaka-best position? Kapag supine position with both legs flexed, D. Nagsisimula sa letter D.
Dorsal recumbent.
Dorsal
Yun,
recumbent.
dorsal recumbent. Okay. Merong tanong na lumabas sa board exam. Bakit daw ang pasyente ay naka-dorsal recumbent or supine position with both legs flexed? Bakit daw ganyan? Because kapag naka-straighten ang legs, magdi-distend ang tiyan, hindi relax. Tense yung tiyan, therefore, magkakaroon ka ng mga false na results. Lalong-lalo na sa pag-measure ng pubic height. Lalong-lalo na sa pag-palpate, magiging nabibinat. Oo, gano sa, hindi, ano ba sa, ano yan? Maiba-iba yung Tagalog natin
Babanat.
dyan, nababanat. Ayun.
Parang
Okay?
nai-stretch ka.
Yes, nai-stretch. Yes, so tense yung yung tiyan ng pasyente natin. Okay? So, tsaka magkakaroon ng discomfort kapag naka-straightened yung legs ng pasyente tapos magli-Leopold's maneuver ka. So, it will just create discomfort. Okay? Now, inspect for the presence of striae and linea nigra. So, striae gravidarum means striae gravidarum. That means what?
Stretch.
Stretch mark.
Yun, stretch mark. Okay. So, si linea nigra, saan natin makikita yan? Over the
Symphysis.
Symphysis.
ayan, going to the xiphoid process, over the top of the the abdomen. Okay. Because of, bakit ba may presence ng linea nigra?
Nai-stretch po yung
Dito yon sa striae gravidarum, but the linea nigra itself. So, linea nigra is what? Linea nigra is what? Di ba ito ay dark line pigmentation? Very good because of the hormone. What hormone kaya? Anong hormone?
Estrogen.
Anong hormone?
Estrogen.
Hindi melasma. Hindi melasma, melanin or the melanocyte. Yes, melanocyte stimulating hormone created by our placenta. Causes by the melanin to rise during pregnancy, no? Ayan. So, si linya nigra, nangyayari yan because nai-stimulate ni melanocyte stimulating hormone na galing saan? Sa placenta. Okay? From the placenta. Okay? Ngayon, anong mangyayari? Magra-rise up yung melanin, no? Ayan. So, during pregnancy, ganyan na nangyayari, ha? Now, may sinabi kanina, melasma. Okay? Melasma is also known as cloasma, no? Anong ibig sabihin nito?
Mass of
The
pregnancy.
mask of
Mask of
pregnancy.
pregnancy.
Okay, mask of pregnancy. Okay, ayan. So dahil magkatunog kasi si melasma at si melanin. Okay, so tatandaan ha, si melasma or cloasma ay mask of pregnancy. So iba siya sa linya nigra. Iba din siya doon sa, yung hormone kasi natin si melanin, ano? Sino yung nag-stimulate sa kanya? Si MSH or si melanocyte stimulating hormone na galing saan? Galing sa placenta. Okay, so sabi, magte-take din tayo ng fundic height. So sabi nga kanina ni Eds, ang ating landmark, you place the tip at the symphysis pubis up to the level of the fundus and note the measurement. And use the centimeter scale of the tape measurement. Okay, so sabi ko nga sa inyo, to avoid bias in reading, anong ginagawa ni healthcare provider? Ang nakikita natin ay, sa naked eye, ang visible ay ang inches.
Inches.
Okay? Ang visible ay inches. Very good. So, let's go to the Leopold's maneuver. So, sabi nyo nga sa akin kanina, may 4 tayo na maneuvers. Okay? So, Leopold number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Ano ang ating Leopold's maneuver 1? Can you recall anong ibang tawag dyan?
Fundal grip.
Very good. The
Kasi
fundal
naribo ka
grip.
mo lang ako makaano.
Ayun na nga. Okay. The fundal grip. And then, the Leopold's number 2?
Lateral or umbilical grip.
Umbilical grip.
Very good. Lateral or the umbilical grip. Okay. And then, sa LM3 naman?
Ollix grip.
And then, the 4?
Pelvic.
Pelvic
Ayun,
grip.
pelvic. Okay. So, fundal, umbilical, pollex, pelvic. Pwedeng LM1, LM2, LM3, LM4 respectively. Lumalabas sa board exam, ma'am, LM1 lang or yung other name. Vice versa, lumalabas yan. No? Okay. So, lahat ng yan, ma'am, tinatanong sa board exam, lahat ng maneuver, yes. So, madali lang naman tandaan si Leopold's maneuver, di ba? But let's go here to the purpose muna. So, ang purpose ni Leopold's maneuver, tatandaan to determine the fetal presentation and position. Okay, lumabas na rin yan sa board exam. Ang pangtalo nila dyan, fetal heart tone. To locate the fetal heart tone. Hindi po ha. Ang purpose po ni Leopold's maneuver ay to determine the fetal presentation and position. So of course, ano ang mga gagawin natin i-consider? Let the patient void first. Pag sinabi to provide comfort, okay, to provide comfort during the Leopold's maneuver procedure, anong nating sasabihin? Void first. Okay, magvo-void muna si nanay. Now, position the woman supine with knees slightly flexed or yung sinasabi nga nating anong position? Ulitin ko lang. Anong position yan?
Dorsal recumbent.
The dorsal recumbent. Okay? So, place a small pillow or rolled towel under one side. So, ang rationale dito, bakit tayo nagpe-place ng small pillow or rolled towel under one side, ay para makapag-promote ng comfort and good circulation. Hindi compress si ano?
Baby.
No. Hindi ma-compress ang
Vena cava.
Very good. Very good. Inferior, vena
Vena cava.
cava. Very good. No? Tatandaan niyo yan, ha? Now, wash your hands using warm water or kung hindi naman makakapag-wash ka agad-agad sa setting or clinical setting, you have to, paano tayo magwa-warm ng hand?
Rub.
Rub
Rub.
together.
Very good. Magra-rub yung hand. So syempre, specifically the palm. No, rub your
Palms.
palm together. Yan, very good. So bakit? Kasi anong mangyayari? Kapag nakapag-contact ng cold surface ang tiyan ni nanay, maaaring mag-cause
Gugulat.
ng, magugulat. Maaaring mag-cause ng, anong mangyayari?
Vasoconstriction.
Yes, so pag nagkaroon ng vasoconstriction, ano nangyayari? Nagkakaroon ng, pwedeng mag-contract ng bahagya and then magkakos ng discomfort kay nanay yon, di ba? Now, in the first 3 maneuvers, tatandaan natin to. Ito, common board question din to. The first 3 maneuvers is wherein the healthcare provider faces the head part of the bed or the patient. So, however, during the last maneuver, the healthcare provider will be facing the foot part of the bed. Yun ang tatandaan natin. Let's go to the Fundal's grip. So, Fundal's grip, ano ang ating mangyayari dyan? Kapag we do the Fundal's grip, we determine the fetal presentation. Is it cephalic? Is it breech? Alright? So, you have to palpate the uterine fundus. So, ano ang ating mga concept dito and considerations? So, you have to palpate the superior surface of the fundus and determine the consistency, the shape, and the mobility. Okay? Kaya nga fundal grip kasi fundus ang ating ipapalpate. Alright. So, kapag head ang nakakapanin nyo, ang characteristic niyan ay more firm than breech. Okay? More firm than the buttocks. So, round, firm, round. And head moves independently of the body. Now, pag breech naman, it's less well-defined, moves only in conjunction with the body. Okay. So, head and breech. Okay, pag sinabi nating breech, yan yung sa ating buttocks ni baby. Okay, puwet. So, kapag head, cephalic, 'di ba? Okay. So, as we said, the Fundal's grip determine the fetal presentation. So, ano bang ibig sabihin ng fetal presentation? This refers to the body part that will first contact the cervix or be born first. So, of course, the type of presentation that we are talking about is cephalic, breech, and shoulder. Cephalic, breech, and shoulder. Okay, sa board exam, tinanong po yan. Okay, mismong sa board exam namin, November 2019. At pinagkalituhan talaga at paulit-ulit ko rin naman itong sinasabi sa inyo. Okay? So, syempre, pag lumabas to sa board exam, hindi na kayo malilito. Ang tanong sa amin, okay? Ang tanong, sabi, ang nakapadaw dito sa fundus, okay, ay halimbawa si head. Okay, si head. So, ano daw ang fetal presentation? So, pag tinanong fetal presentation, syempre anong sasabihin nyo? Kung head ang nakapa dito. Ang
Breech.
fetal presentation,
Breech.
breech. Very good. Okay, ganyan ha. Ganyan, makinig. So, next question. Ang sabi, ang nakapa daw dito ay less well-defined. So, halimbawa, sinabi ay breech. Okay, buttocks. Ano naman daw ang fundal presentation?
Shoulder.
Fundal presentation, mga anak. Ang nakapa daw dito sa fundus ay buttocks or breech. Ngayon, ang tanong, ano daw ang fundal presentation?
Cephalic.
Back.
Fundal presentation.
Cephalic.
Cephalic.
Ano ang nakapa daw according to the question? Tama si... Sorry, hindi ko alam yung time. Tama si Berdin. Okay, tama si Berdin. Breech presentation po. Pag sinabing fundal presentation, mga anak, saan kaya yan? Sa fundus nakapa. Sa fundus, yung presenting part sa fundus. Presenting part sa fundus, wag malilito. Kasi sabi fundal presentation. Di po ba? Okay? Pag naman sinabing fetal presentation, we only have 3 fetal presentation. Cephalic, breech, and shoulder. Ano ba yung fetal presentation? Yung lalabas sa puwerta. Yung lalabas sa puwerta. Fetal presentation. Halimbawa, bumalik lang yung tanong sa amin noon, noong November 2019. Ang sabi, fundal presentation. Okay, fundal presentation. So, ano yung sasagot natin? Kung ano yung nakapa dito. Nakuha? Nakuha?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes,
okay.
ma'am.
So, again, sinabi sa board exam na ang presenting part, fetal presenting part, ay head. Fetal presenting part ay head. What is the fundal presentation?
Botox, bridge.
Breech
Bridge.
or
Bridge.
buttocks, no? Breech or buttocks. Okay, very good. Ganyan lang ha. Alam nyo, siguro 3 to 4 questions yon. Naaalala ko talaga, 3 to 4 questions yon. Ganun sa board exam, paulit-ulit yung tanong, paiba-iba lang ng term, ng sentence. Minsan, iniiba nila yung choices, inag-o-omit sila ng second best answer. So, kapag alam na alam ninyo yung strategy, no? At saka of course the concept of Leopold's maneuver at lalong-lalo na yung dinidiscuss na grip. So hindi kayo malilito, 'di ba? Ayan. Ganon ha. Titingnan po ang question. Okay, titingnan ang question. Halimbawa naman sinabi na upon internal examination, the registered midwife confirmed of a breech presentation. What is the presenting part at the fundal pole? What is the answer?
Cephalic.
Cephalic or head, 'di ba? Cephalic or head. Very good. Ganun lang po. Okay? May nalilito pa. Ilan ba kayo ngayon dito? May nalilito? Kasi nasabi ni ma'am, baka lang lumabas, no? Bonus questions na natin yan. Okay? Walang malilito. Pag sinabing fetal presentation, dito yon. Dito yon, malapit sa vagina, labasan. Ano? So, tatlo lang yan. Pinag-uusapan yan cephalic, breech, or shoulder. Okay? Ngayon, may lumabas na naman sa board exam. Nitong November 2024 lang. Wala daw makapa. Walang makapa sa during internal examination. Kapag walang nakakapa dito, kapag wala ring masyadong nakakapa dito, ang sagot dyan ay
Transverse.
Transverse.
transverse lie. Transverse lie. Pero, anong presentation?
Shoulder.
Very good.
Shoulder.
Shoulder. Okay, very good. I'm so proud of you guys kasi kung alam na alam nyo ang relation ni lie sa presentation, very good na po kayo doon. Okay. Ayan. So next, no, ang ating lateral or umbilicals grip. Lateral or umbilicals grip. So locates the fetal back. So fetal back is characterized by smooth, hard, resistant surface. Okay? So kapag lumpy naman, it means it's the extremities. So if the assessment findings reveal several angular nodulations, no, the areas palpated may be part of the knees and elbows of the fetus. So ano ang important concept sa lateral or umbilicals grip? This is the location of the fetal back or locating the fetal back. Bakit? Because that is the place where we are locating the
Fetal heart tone.
fetal heart tone. Very good. So speaking of fetal heart tone, syempre, ano ang normal range natin ng fetal heart tone?
120
120 to 160.
120 to
120 to
160. Very good. O pag sinabi kong 119, ano ang tawag natin dito?
Bradycardia.
Very
Bradycardia.
good. Bradycardia. Okay? Puso ang pinag-uusapan. Now, baba, no? Bumaba siya sa 120. Kapag naman 161, ano naman yan?
Tachycardia.
Cardia.
Tachycardia. Taas, no? Taas, tulin. Okay. So, slow heart rate, 119 yan ha. Kapag sinabi sa board exam 119, bumaba sa 120, please lang po, i-consider na bradycardia, hindi yan normal. No? Kasi we are taking a test by paper. Di ba? Ayan. Okay. Huwag kayong mag-a-add up sa question, ha? Huwag kayong mag-iisip na, ay, baka sasabihin ng OB sa tanong. Normal lang yan kasi wala po. Okay? Wala pong ganon. Walang mag-a-add up sa board exam. Okay? Kung gaano kasimple yung question, huwag kayong mag-over-analyze. Huwag mag-a-add up. Don't question the question. Do not add up any details na wala naman doon. Okay? So next, yung pollex grip. So this is to determine the part of the fetus at the inlet and its mobility. Okay? So bakit tine-check yung mobility? To determine if the presenting part is engaged or not
Engagement.
engaged.
Engaged.
Very good. Kapag pollex grip, eto na yung engagement, no? So, ganun daw, di ba? Kapag 3 taon na kayo, dapat ay nagiging engaged na kayo. Okay, yun na lang para matandaan natin lahat. So, if head is not engaged, the presenting part moves upward or either sideward. If head is engaged, head is firmly settled into the pelvis. Okay, halimbawa not engaged, do not proceed to the Leopold's maneuver 4. Kapag naman engaged, then and there, pwede ka nang mag-proceed kay Leopold's maneuver number 4, the pelvic grip. The pelvic grip kung saan ang face ni healthcare provider ay nakatingin sa feet. Okay, nakatingin sa feet. Common board question din yan, ha? Okay. So, si pelvic grip, it determines the fetal attitude and the degree of the fetal extension into the pelvis. So, it should be only done if the fetus is in a cephalic presentation and kapag engaged na. Kasi it's hard to determine the fetal attitude and the fetal extension kung hindi naman engaged si fetus. Okay? So, information about the infant's antero-posterior position may be also gained from this final maneuver. Tandaan po natin yan, ha? Once again, si Leopold's maneuver, ano ang purpose?
To
Determine the
determine the
fetal
fetal
presentation of
position.
the baby.
Fetal position and the?
Presentation.
Presentation.
Fetal presentation and position. Very good. Kapag sinabi kong engagement, kanino yan?
Pollex grip.
Pollex
Yeah,
grip.
very good. Pag heartbeat,
Umbilical grip.
Umbilical grip.
Pollex.
Pollex. Leopold's
Umbilical po.
ulit. Ulit, may naririnig akong pollex grip. Kapag fetal heart tone,
Umbilical grip.
Umbilical grip.
Umbilical grip.
ayun, LM2 yan, umbilical grip. Tatandaan nyo yung ibang name, ha, pero tayo yung mag-shortcut lang dito sa susulatan natin. Okay, pag sinabi ko namang engagement,
LM3.
LM3, engagement. Sulat nyo yan, ha, engagement. Okay, pag sinabi ko namang to know if the fetus is cephalic or breech.
LM1.
LM1.
Ayun, LM1, fetal presentation. Okay, and then, of course, si LM4, tatandaan lang, fetal attitude and extension, no? Yan ang tandaan lang din natin, no? So, kapag alam nyo yung concept ni fetal presentation, fetal heart tone, engagement, and fetal attitude, kapag kinorelate yan dito sa mga maneuvers, kayang-kaya nating intindihin ang question, ha? Okay, so let's go to the antepartum diagnostic testing. Okay? So, antepartum diagnostic testing. So, dapat ito talaga yung ating mga routine laboratory test, no? Para sa successful prenatal check-up, no? Or assessment. Pero sa Pilipinas, lalong-lalo na sa community, what is routinely done are the CBC, no? The ABO typing, urine culture, or urinalysis, no? And then, RPR, or VDRL, and then, HB-SAG, and then, the HIV. Di po ba? CBC with platelet, minsan, di ba? Tapos ano pa? ABO typing. Okay?
Urinalysis.
Urinalysis, RPR or VDRL, sinusulat ko lang, no, para sulat nyo yan. And then HB-SAG for the hepatitis B
HIV.
surface antigen, and then the HIV.
HIV.
Ayan, yan yung mga sa lab test. Pag sinabi naman nating diagnostic procedure, ito yung sa ating ultrasound. Meron tayong first trimester. Anong ultrasound natin? Transvaginal or yes. So, hindi na kasha. TVS, no? Transvaginal ultrasound. During the second trimester naman, we have the pelvic ultrasound. Tatandaan. And then, during the third trimester, we have the biophysical score ultrasound. Okay? Yun ang mga tatandaan po natin, ha? Tinatanong sa board exam? Yes. Actually, etong first and second ang tinatanong sa board exam. Okay? Pero of course, kailangan tandaan natin yan, ha? Huwag tayo mag-focus doon sa mga common board question. Mag-focus din tayo sa mga concepts, no? Ayan. So, ABO typing. Ano ba ang ABO typing? This is to determine the woman's blood type. Okay? Woman blood type. Ngayon, meron tayong RH typing. Ito namang RH typing is to know or to determine the blood type in the rhesus antigen system. So, dito sa kung dito sa ABO typing, meron tayong A, B, O, and AB. Sa RH typing, malalaman natin kung positive or
Positive or
Negative.
negative.
positive or negative, no? Yung RH type nila. Now, RH positive, tandaan, indicates the presence of the antigen, while the negative naman indicates the absence of the antigen. All right. So, if the client is RH negative and has a negative antibody screen, the client will need repeat antibody screens and should receive ROGAM, no? Si ROGAM, okay, ay binibigay at 28 weeks of gestation. Tatandaan po yan, common board question. So, it also requires ROGAM within 72 hours after delivery if the infant is RH positive. Okay? Now, ROGAM may also be prescribed following the termination of pregnancy such as following a miscarriage. Okay. Now, punta tayo kay rubella titer. Okay? Rubella titer. So, kapag negative titer, ang result nun ay less than 1:8. Okay? So, kapag negative titer, ikaw ay susceptible to the rubella virus. Susceptible to the rubella virus. Ano ang management kapag nakita na negative titer ang pasyente? Ia-advise mo na magbigay ng immunization ng rubella vaccine kailan? Postpartum. Yes, after pagkapanganak ni nanay, no? After pagkapanganak ni nanay. So, advised to use the birth control at the time of immunization and must be counseled not become pregnant for 1 to 3 months. Okay, 1 to 3 months after immunization. Bakit? Pwedeng ma-jeopardize yung pagbubuntis niya, no? Halimbawa lang nagbuntis, no, after immunization, pwedeng ma-jeopardize yung pagbubuntis niya. So, to avoid contact with anyone who is immunocompromised. Okay. So, if the rubella vaccine is administered kasabay ni ROGAM, ito ay hindi magiging effective. Okay, consider that, okay? Now, rubella vaccine is administered postpartum before discharge. Anong route? Subcutaneous, okay? Kung ang ang result negative titer or less than 1:8. So, rubella vaccine is not given during pregnancy because may live attenuated virus ito. It may cause the cross the placenta and present a risk to the developing fetus. Okay? So, punta tayo kay complete blood count. Alright. So, white blood cells, leukocytes, it can be slightly increased during pregnancy. So, anong condition yon? The leukocytosis. Okay? Dumabas din sa board exam yan. Elevated white blood cell. Okay? Elevated white blood cell daw during lab test. So, yan ay normal po. Okay? So hemoglobin and hematocrit levels decline during gestation as result of increased plasma volume. Di ba na-discuss natin dati sa cardiovascular system ng mga buntis? Anong nangyayari? Nag-i-increase ng total plasma volume. Nag-i-increase ng total plasma volume. Kaya nga naman, bumababa ang hemoglobin and hematocrit. Anong management? Bibigyan ng ferrosulfate, no? Okay. So a decrease in the hemoglobin level to less than 10 gram per deciliter or in the hematocrit level to less than 30% indicates anemia. Okay. Now, hemoglobin, what is hemoglobin? It's a protein, carries oxygen from the lungs to all parts of the body. And then hematocrit levels is the percentage of the red blood cells. Okay. So RBC, also known as the erythrocytes, no? 'Di ba? Meron nga tayong protein. What is the protein carrying oxygen from the lungs to all over the body parts? Hematocrit. Yun, hemoglobin. So, very good. Tatanong ko sana kung hematocrit or hemoglobin. So, hemoglobin. Ayan. Si hematocrit naman refers to the percentage of the red blood cell. Okay. So, tatandaan natin yan. Yung normal niya, 33% at more than 11.5 milligram per deciliter. So, in first trimester and third trimester, kapag 11 gram per deciliter ka, it can be considered as anemic. Kapag naman in second trimester ay 10.5 gram per deciliter, ayun, it can be considered anemic. And then, kapag 7 gram per deciliter in any trimester, it is severe anemia. Now, white blood cell or leukocytes to detect infection, no? Or sepsis. So, white blood cells or leukocytes, ano ang kanilang function? To protect body by fighting the infection. Okay, tatandaan natin, increasing white blood cells, it indicates bacterial infection. So, lower white blood cells, it indicates viral infection. Ang normal value ng white blood cells ay 4,500 to 11,000 white blood cells per microliter. Now, we go to the platelets or the thrombocytes. So, ito naman ay ang mga buntis ay may physiological thrombocytopenia. Okay? So, physiological thrombocytopenia it is mild and has no adverse effect for the mother and the fetus. So, ano ba ang primary function ni platelet? So, this is to prevent and stop the bleeding if there is, no? So, ang normal value ay 150,000 to 450,000 microliter. Kapag nag-increase ang platelet, it can cause blood clots that can block blood flow to your baby. Kapag naman nag-decrease ang platelet, it can cause bleeding. Okay? Now, hepatitis B surface antigen test. Of course, obviously, ano ang tinetest nito? We are testing for
Hepa.
Hepa what? Kupletuhin.
Hepa B.
Hepa B.
Hepa B.
Hepa B,
Hepa B.
no? Diba? Hepa B, hepatitis B. So, si hepatitis B vaccine ay hindi contraindicated sa buntis. So, hepatitis B vaccine is okay lang sa buntis. So, si hepatitis B virus, ito ay isang blood-borne, ano? Blood-borne microorganism. So, body fluids and like semen and vaginal secretion yung kanyang mode of transmission, ano? Perinatal transmission, contact maternal blood during delivery naman po. Now, next is the HIV testing. So, of course, to detect the HIV. So, antibody test can usually detect HIV 23 to 90 days after exposure. Pakitandaan yan, ha? Halimbawa, positive ang pasyente. Okay? Pag positive ang pasyente at during assessment, nalaman mo pala na talagang alam niyang positive siya, sabihin mo lang sa kanya na i-continue lang yung kanyang medication, which is the antiretroviral drug, no? So, meron tayong option A, B, and B+. So, ito ay according to the national guidelines. So, option A is to take maternal zidovudine or retrovir plus infant antiretroviral prophylaxis. Si option B naman ay maternal triple ARV prophylaxis hanggang ma-deliver or if nag-breastfeeding. So until 1 week after all exposure to breast milk ended. Okay, so si option B plus naman, start triple ARV as soon as diagnosed and continued for life. So for life, tatandaan natin, once na ang pasyente ay nag-take na ng antiretroviral drug, okay, which is commonly known yung brand sa atin, yung Retrovir or the generic Sudovudin. So kailangan forever mo na siyang i-take. So once ARV started, it is taken for life. Okay? So si ARV drug, si Sudovudin or si Retrovir, ito ba, pinapatay niya ba si HIV?
Hindi po.
Hindi po. Okay. Ang action niya lamang po ay pine-prevent niya yung virus from multiplying and destroying the helper cells natin or the soldier cells. Sino yung soldier cells natin? The CD4 cells, no? Okay. Yun ang tatandaan po ha pagdating sa HIV. So next is the urinalysis. When we are taking urinalysis, tatandaan lang anong specimen natin dyan? Of course, ang urine. Okay? Urine ang specimen natin. Okay, so dapat clean catch during the midstream. Clean catch lamang po during the midstream. Okay? So halimbawa, sinabi sa board exam, yes, totoo to, lumabas. Kapag daw kinlaim ng patient na yung kanyang pag-catch daw ng urine ay yung unang tulo, should we consider it as clean?
No.
No, hindi.
No.
No? Dapat nga kasi saan? Dapat ay midstream, kalagitnaan. Okay, kalagitnaan. Lumalabas yan? Yes, lumalabas kung paano ka mag-a-advise sa pasyente mo on how to take specimens, lalong-lalo na yan nga sa urine. Okay, ano rasyonale? Bakit naman bawal sa unahan? So kasi po, no, 'di ba? Ano ba ang meron sa ating vagina? 'Di ba we have mga normal flora diyan? Okay, halimbawa ikaw ay may infection, no? May infection. Magkakaroon ng false high, no? False super high na number of bacteria kung ang iti-take mo ay yung pinakauna kasi hindi ganun kalinis yung unang stream. Ang pinaka-okay na stream, midstream. Okay? So, tanong ko lang sa inyo, tinanong lang din to sa board exam, tinanong kung ang urine ba ay sterile?
No.
Sa loob ng katawan, ang urine ba ay sterile? Sterile po ang urine. Tatandaan po yan na, okay, ang urine ay sterile. Rasyonale. Aba mga anak, kung hindi sterile ang urine sa loob ng bladder natin at ito'y madumi, unsterile, ano mangyayari sa atin? Magkakaroon tayo ng lagnat. Magkakaroon tayo ng infection kasi, 'di ba? Ayan. Okay. So sa urinalysis, no, bukod sa pag-check ng infection, okay? Bukod sa pag-check ng infection, dinedetect din dito yung presence ng protein at saka ng albumin. So, ang tawag doon, proteinuria or albuminuria. So, levels of 2 plus to 4 plus protein in the urine may indicate infection or pre-eclampsia. Di po ba? Now, para ma-determine natin yan, meron tayong tinatawag na heat and acetic acid. Heat and acetic acid procedure. Okay? So, pag naman presence of glucose in urine, glycosuria naman yung tawag natin doon. So, if glycosuria persists, it may indicate, ano yung GDM?
Gestational diabetes mellitus.
Very good. Gestational diabetes mellitus. Diabetes, no? Ng pagbubuntis. Okay, ano naman? Kung ito naman ay heat and acetic acid sa proteinuria, so of course, si glycosuria naman ay Benedict's test. Okay? So pag sinabi natin urea, merong mga pus in urine. So there are a lot of presence of white blood cells in the urine. So it may indicate infection. Kapag naman hematuria, there is presence of blood in the urine. And then kapag naman ketonuria, there are presence of ketones, okay? So usually this may result from insufficient food intake or consistent vomiting, lalong-lalo na yung mga may hyperemesis gravidarum. Okay, so dito tayo kay heat and acetic acid muna. Itong test na to, we are grading this, ano? Anong kailangan natin dito? We need a 5 ml test tube, di ba? We need the 5 ml test tube. Tapos, we need, ano mga specimen natin dito? Of course, the urine. Okay, and then ang ating acetic acid. Okay, ano gagawin natin? Ano ang ating papainitan?
Lang.
The top or the bottom?
Needle.
The top. Kasi itong bottom serves as control, no? Dito natin makikita yung result. Ngayon, ano yung result natin when we burn the test tube? Ano yung result natin? Okay. So, kung cloudy, kung there's no cloud, it's negative. If it's faint cloud, there's traces of protein. If diffuse cloud, there is 0.1 gram per deciliter or 1 plus po ha, ng, anong hinahanap natin kapag heat and acetic acid? Anong presence sa urine?
Protein.
Protein. Okay, protein or albumin. Okay? Ayan. So, pag there's granular cloudiness, okay, so plus 2 naman ang ating grade. So, it contains 0.1 to 0.2 gram per deciliter. Pag naman there's precipitation, so plus 3 ang ating i-grade. So, merong 0.2 to 0.4 gram per deciliter. And then, pag super thick solid precipitate, yun na yung worst, plus 4. So, ibig sabihin nun, merong more than 0.5 gram per deciliter. Kapag merong ganito, usually resulting to pre-eclampsia yung mga ganyan. Okay? So, Benedict's test naman tayo. So, si Benedict's test, sa board exam, ang tinatanong dyan yung color. Okay? The color and then the symbol. Okay? So, si blue, very common yan. Very common si blue. This is the normal result, no? Pag blue, normal. Pag green, plus 1. Pag yellow, plus 2. And then pag orange red or orange, 3 plus. And then pag brick red or red, ayan, 4 na plus. Okay? So, yung tatandaan po natin sa Benedict's test, ha? Magkakasunod, blue, green, yellow, orange, red. Blue, green, yellow, orange, red. Okay? So, pupunta tayo kay glucose challenge test. So, ito naman ay kapag mag-i-screen tayo ng gestational diabetes mellitus. Okay? So, it begins at the initial prenatal visit. Okay? Once again, halimbawa, kayo ay nag-positive for the Benedict's test. Okay? Nag-positive kayo, may presence of glucose in your urine. So, para ma-confirm yon, kailangan mag-confirmatory test tayo, the glucose challenge test. No? Okay, so ito naman ay screening for gestational diabetes mellitus. It begins at the initial prenatal visit and it's diagnosed by fasting blood glucose. Ayan, so madadiagnose tayo. So, paano natin madadiagnose? Kapag fasting plasma glucose is at least 7.0 micromolecule per liter or 126 milligram per deciliter, common board question. Or di kaya naman yung HbA1c natin ay at least 6.5%. And then random plasma glucose at least 11.1 micromolecule per liter or 200 milligram per deciliter. Plus confirmation of another elevated fasting glucose level or the HbA1c. So glucose challenge test is performed between 24 and 28 weeks gestation, common board question. So sa ating 50-gram oral glucose load without regard to time of day is given, after an hour, a plasma or serum glucose level is drawn and is considered elevated kapag more than 140 mg per deciliter ang ating result. So a 3-hour GCT or glucose challenge test may also be done. If the 3-hour glucose challenge test is above 130 to 140 mg per deciliter, it is considered as a positive result and may be an indicative sign of gestational diabetes mellitus. So next is our VDRL or the RPR tests. So venereal disease research laboratory tests. Ano ang ating tinetest dyan? So if you have syphilis, no? So RPR stands for rapid plasma reagin, no? Rapid plasma reagin. So we have also Wasserman test or Wasserman reaction. So it is an antibody test for syphilis naman po. Okay. So during testing of STIs, we also have the pap smear. Okay, the papanicular test is method for cervical screening, no? Para saan to? Kapag we are doing cervical screening, pap smear is also dedicated to what? Early detection of what?
Cervical
cancer.
Very good. Cervical cancer. Okay? Now, the potassium hydroxide test or the KOH test, no? Ito naman ay to determine the Candida yeast infection. So you can get scrapings from the mouth if you have oral thrush, from the vagina if diagnosed with vaginitis, and skin, no? So makikita nyo doon if there's candidiasis or moniliasis. So ano ang ating appearance if merong candidiasis and moniliasis? Cheesy. Yung tatandaan nyo ha, cheesy substance or cheesy appearance, candidiasis, moniliasis. Okay? So Whiff's test naman po with 10% of potassium hydroxide test for bacterial vaginosis naman. So during the papanicular smear, so maybe done during the initial prenatal examination. Maybe lang po ha. So sa Pilipinas, it's not routinely done because anong rasyonale bakit ang Papa Nicolas smear ay although siya yung pinaka the best na test, no, upon early screening for cervical neoplasia or cervical cancer, bakit siya ay hindi ginagawa? Because ang rationale dyan ay expensive tapos matagal ang balik ng result. Okay? Ayan. So, Papa Nicolas smear, no? Versus the most affordable test. Ano yon? Ano yung affordable test natin? Kung ang rationale natin na si Papa Nicolas smear ay hindi ginagamit sa community dahil matagal ang result tapos medyo expensive, no? Maraming consideration. Ano yung isang test natin na ginagawa? Hindi. Pap smear nga yun eh.
Nitrocyten.
Hmm? Ano po? Da? Ano? Yes po, go ahead. No, nitrazine test is for the placenta. Ay, sa placenta. For the amniotic fluid. Ano yung kino-consider natin? Halimbawa, hindi kabot kaya ang Papa Nicolas smear or pap smear. Ano po? The
VDRL.
No. The VIA. Ano VIA mga anak? Visual VIA. Hala, nakalimutan na. VIA is visual inspection with yes naman mga anak. Gising-gising tayo dyan. Visual inspection with what?
Acetic acid.
Very good. Visual inspection with acetic acid. Ano? So, sa iba, tawag dyan, VIAA. Okay, VIAA. So, mga anak, tandaan nyo ha, sa community, kung bakit hindi pap smear muna, ang rationale daw doon, no? Ang rationale daw doon ay, ano daw? Matagal ang result.
Expensive.
Very good. Matagal na result and expensive, no? Expensive. Ano ang VIA? VIA kasi ay
Visual.
affordable. 'Di ba? Yes, visual inspection with acetic acid, affordable, tapos mabilis ang result. Okay? Though, VIA hindi siya diagnostic procedure ha. Hindi siya yung talagang specific or specified for cervical neoplasia ha. Okay. So next is ayan na nga no, ulitin ko lang naman. Okay, so next is the ultrasonography na po tayo. Okay? So, ultrasonography measures the response of sound waves against solid objects. Ano ang purpose? What is the purpose?
To diagnose pregnancy.
O, diba? Nagkasalimbayan, nagkahiyaan. Okay, so to diagnose pregnancy, of course, diba? Kapag nag-positive ang pregnancy test, ano ang ating confirmatory test? Ultrasound, di ba? Ultrasound. So, to diagnose pregnancy. So, to establish the sex of the fetus, if male or female. To predict the maturity of the fetus, no? And then to confirm the presence, size, and location of the placenta. And of course, the fluid volume of the amniotic fluid. Now, there are types, no? Yung kinukuha natin or pinapagawa natin during first trimester, na-discuss ko kanina. During the first trimester.
Transvaginal ultrasound.
Very good. TVS, transvaginal ultrasound. Okay, second trimester? Pelvic. And then yung pinakapag-term na?
BPS with NST.
Ayan, kinumpleto na, no? Pero, usually dito lang sa atin ay BPS lang, ano? Minsan nga hindi pa nagagawa si BPS, hanggang pelvic na lang, ano? Okay, so matidiscuss naman natin yan. So, si transabdominal or si pelvic ultrasound, ang gagawin niyo, ang ating i-consider, you have to ask the client to drink plenty of water 1 hour before the procedure. Kasi ang rationale, full bladder will push the utero to the pelvic cavity for better visualization of the abdomen. Kapag naman transvaginal ultrasound, you have to ask the client to void naman. Okay? So, ultrasound in the first trimester, ano ang mga information na ma-obtain natin? So, sa trans-V, ang ma-obtain natin ay kung meron bang cardiac movement, kung may yolk sac, kung may fetal heart tone. So, also if may place na IUD, okay? Or placement of the IUD, and then identification of the hydatidiform mole. Ano nga ba makikita natin sa ultrasound? Kapag may hydatidiform mole, the
Snowstorm.
very good. The snowstorm appearance. Ano ba yung snowstorm natin?
Clear vesicle.
Very good. The clear vesicle. Tatandaan yun, ha? So, there are specks of white in a dark background. So, yun nga po yung vesicles filled with fluid. Now, the second and third trimester ultrasound naman, ang pwede nating ma-obtain is the location of the placenta, growth of the fetus, amount of the amniotic fluid, fetal position and presentation, the gender of the baby. Okay, gender of the baby is determinable na at 16 weeks age of gestation. Pero ang pinaka-ideal time ay 28 weeks po. Now, pwede din nating malaman if there's congenital or chromosomal problems and then determined by 3D dimensional ultrasound. Okay. So, sa ultrasound, pwede kaya nating ma-determine ang metabolic disorder?
No.
No. Ayan. Okay, no. Hindi natin pwedeng ma-detect ang metabolic disorder sa ultrasound. Okay? Anemia. Anemia of the fetus. Pwede kaya?
No.
No,
No.
ma'am.
Okay, obviously no, no? May mga ganyang questions sa board exam, ma'am. Yes. No, yung mapapa yes or no ka talaga. Okay? Ayan. So, yung metabolic disorder, of course, paano natin makikita yon metabolic disorder? Sa newborn. Ala, tinanong ko din yan sa inyo dati na ano
Newborn
din.
screening.
Newborn
Very good.
screening.
The
Newborn
newborn
screening.
screening. Very good sa newborn screening. Okay, let's go now to the biophysical score. So, it combines 5 parameters, which is the fetal reactivity, breathing movement, tone, amniotic fluid, and then heart activity. So, ang score nito na mag-gain mo ay 10. Kasi each ay ang perfect score ay 2. So, it may be done as often as daily during a high-risk pregnancy. Kapag naman hindi high-risk pregnancy, at the end of pregnancy or yung medyo malapit ng mag-term. So if the fetal score is 8 to 10, the fetus is doing well. Kapag ang 6 naman ang score, it is considered to be suspicious. Kapag naman 4, the fetus is in jeopardy. So bakit nagbabiophysical score? Para malaman kung ang fetus ay ready nang makipagbakbakan sa labor and delivery. Tatandaan nyo po yan ha, bakit nagbabiophysical score para malaman yung fetal well-being, kung ready na ba siya, no? Kung ready na ba siya sa paglabas kay nanay. Okay. So, meron naman tayong tinatawag na non-stress test, no? Tinatawag na non-stress test. Okay. So, non-stress test, it measures the response of the fetal heart rate in relation to fetal movement. Tatandaan na yung relation ni fetal heart rate sa fetal movement. Ano ang gagamitin natin? CTG or the cardiotachograph tracing. So itong CTG, okay, ito ay non-invasive procedure. Ano ang mga results natin? If it's reactive, it's normal. If it's non-reactive, it's abnormal.
Reactive and
Ayun.
non-reactive.
Very good. So reactive and non-reactive. Si reactive, there's 2 or more acceleration of fetal heart rate of 15 beats per minute, lasting 15 seconds or more following fetal movement in a 20-minute period. Gaano daw katagal ang non-stress test? 20 minutes.
20
Tatandaan. Gaano katagal? 20 minutes. Ang reactive, tinatanong sa board exam. Tandaan nyo ang reactive, ang fetal heart rate 15 beats per minute for 15 seconds. No? Lasting 15 seconds. 15 beats per minute. Lasting for 15 seconds or more. Okay. Following the fetal movement. Tatandaan po yan ha. Kapag non-reactive, there's no acceleration. No, it occurs with the no acceleration that occurs with the fetal movement. So ano ang ating safety consideration during doing the procedure? Women should not lie supine to prevent supine hypotension syndrome. Now next. So we have naman the contraction stress test. Okay? Si contraction stress test it measures response of the fetal heart rate naman to uterine contraction. Okay? So nakikita niyo yung difference? Fetal heart rate to fetal movement si non-stress test. Si contraction stress test naman po, fetal heart rate to uterine contraction. Okay? So, meron tayong stimulations of nipple stimulation and oxytocin challenge. Okay? Ito yan. Explain natin. So, si contraction stress test, this is best to be done on the 38-week age of gestation. Okay? So, ito si contraction stress test ginagawa kapag non-reactive si NST. Okay? Or si non-stress test. So, ang result ng ating contraction stress test ay negative. Pag negative, that means normal. There's no acceleration, there's no deceleration with contraction. Kapag naman positive, it's abnormal. So, there's late deceleration. Okay? So, ano ang ating consideration during contraction stress test? So, you have to observe woman for 30 minutes to see the contractions are quiet and preterm labor does not begin. So, punta tayo kay nipple stimulation. So you have to explain the procedure to the patient, of course, and then position the client comfortably. Rub the nipples and then give pack or warm soaks for 10 minutes prior to stimulation to increase the circulation and vascularity at the nipple area. And then start 4 cycles per stimulation. Start with the first cycle. If after this and there are no contractions, stop and rest for 2 to 4 minutes. So do the procedure up to 4 cycles. Kapag there's no contractions after the 4th cycle, you stop the nipple stimulation and you go to the oxytocin challenge. So what is the oxytocin challenge? So you have to give diluted form of oxytocin at a titrating dose. So start 10 to 12 drops per minute to a maximum of 40 drops per minute. And then you have to wait for 2 consecutive uterine contractions. You have to stop the oxytocin challenge test if 2 uterine contractions are obtained. Now compare uterine contractions with fetal heart tone. Ang important concept natin, note for timing of deceleration in relationship to contraction. So deceleration is seen after contraction. Yung U-shaped deceleration. So ito yung U-shaped deceleration natin. Ayan. Okay? So this is the late deceleration. Yan, nakikita nyo yan. So ano ang gagawin natin kapag may late decel? You have to place the client in left lateral position. If you are doing the oxytocin challenge, you have to stop oxytocin immediately. Okay? So we don't need any contractions pa. No, kasi nag-late decel si baby. Now give oxygen to the mother. The rate is 8 to 10 liters per minute and then hydrate with plain water. If deceleration is more than 10 minutes, cesarean section may be necessary. Okay. Now, alam natin to ha. Civil, CHOP, MIND. Okay. So, eto, yung fetal heart rate pattern. Eto yung cause, eto yung management kung anong nangyari sa fetal heart rate pattern ha. So, kapag meron tayong variable deceleration, tatandaan natin maaaring may cord compression. Ano ang gagawin natin? I-reposition ng pasyente into a what position?
Left lateral.
Very good. Left lateral position or left side lying position. Halimbawa, wala sa board exam, left lateral, wala. Ito yung sinasabi ko sa inyo ngayon. Sasabihin, ma'am, wala namang left lateral doon. Left side lying po, ha? Okay. Now, side lying po yan, lateral. Okay, kapag naman may early deceleration, maaaring may head compression at ang gagawin natin ay identify the labor progress. Identify the labor progress. And then kapag naman may acceleration, ito ay okay lang. Wala kang gagawin kasi okay lang. Kapag naman may late deceleration, it means may placental insufficiency. Kapag may placental insufficiency, ang ating i-execute na intervention ay ang reposition the patient, very good, okay? To a left side lying pa rin po or left lateral. So yung placental insufficiency, kapag nagkaroon ng ganyan, it might jeopardize the circulation of the blood from the mother to the fetus, no? Magkakaroon ng oxygen deprivation yung fetus. 'Di ba? Okay. Now, punta naman tayo dito kay chorionic villi sampling. So ito, it is not routinely done, but here in our country, no, especially in the community, pero magandang malaman natin. Chorionic villi sampling ay diagnostic technique that involves the retrieval and analysis of the chorionic villi. Okay? From the growing placenta for chromosomes or DNA analysis. So ito ay tinetest on the 8 to 10 weeks of pregnancy. So, post-procedure, pagkatapos ng procedure, you have to instruct the patient to report of chills or fever because it may suggest infection or threatened miscarriage. Okay? Now, ang testing naman ni alpha-fetoprotein, tatandaan natin, si alpha-fetoprotein po, no? Tinetest to during the between 13th and 32nd week of the pregnancy. Kapag elevated, may neural tube defect. Kapag may decreased alpha-fetoprotein, fetal chromosomal disorder like Down syndrome. Natatandaan niyo yung sinasabi ko sa inyo? Pag low alpha-fetoprotein, Down
Down
syndrome.
syndrome.
Yon, low, down, 'di ba? Ayan. 'Di ba yung low sets of ears, ano 'yon? Kay Down syndrome
Down
din, 'di ba?
syndrome.
Okay. So ganyan, tatandaan niyo po 'yan ha. Okay. So punta naman tayo sa FERT test. So si FERT test ginagawa natin 'yan to check if ano 'yan?
Amniotic fluid.
Very good. To check if the presence of the fluid at the vaginal os or the vaginal opening is an amniotic fluid. Okay? Ang FERT test, kailangan natin ng microscope at saka ng slides. Okay? Kasi we can determine the presence of amniotic fluid leakage there. Okay? Using a sterile technique. So, a specimen is obtained from the external os of the cervix and vaginal pool and is examined on a slide under a microscope. Paano paano tayo makakakuha successfully ng specimen or fluid? So, ang gagawin natin, anuhin natin. Very good. Papaubuhin si pasyente. Papaubuhin. Make her cough. No? Ayan. And then, of course, place the fluid at the specimen, the slide specimen, okay? So next is the fern-like pattern naman or fern test. So we are looking here for a fern-like pattern. Kasi si fern-like pattern ay effects of salts of the amniotic fluid. So kapag nakakita kayo ng ganito, fern-like pattern, it indicates the presence of amniotic fluid. So position the client in the dorsal rhizotomy position and instruct the client to cough. So, ganun po tayo magkukuha ng specimen. So, next is the nitrazine test po. So, si nitrazine test naman, ano din to? Para ma-determine if?
pH level.
Para ma-determine din ang pH level ni fluid sa vaginal os. Kung ito ba ay amniotic fluid or vaginal secretion. Okay? So, amniotic fluid, kapag amniotic fluid, ito ay, ano po? Eto, blue.
Line.
No, ayan, blue. Kapag naman urine lang or vaginal secretions, yellow. Okay, tatandaan ha. Kapag amniotic fluid, blue. Okay? Kapag vaginal secretion, it's yellow. Ayan. 'Di ba ang vaginal secretion, usually ito ay nagre-range from 4.5 to 5.5 pH. Kapag amniotic naman, 7.0 to 7.5 pH naman. Okay? So yan yung nitrazine test natin. So next is the fibronectin test. So fibronectin test is done between 22 to 34 weeks. Concerned about preterm labor. So magfa-fibronectin test ka kapag yung pasyente mo ay prone to preterm labor. Sino yung mga yan? Yung may mga history ng preterm labor. So positive result may indicate the onset of labor in 1 to 3 weeks. Kapag naman negative test results, preterm labor will not begin. So test is used if the client is at risk for preterm labor before 37 weeks age of gestation. Syempre, kapag 37 na, AOG, no, ano pa ba? Okay pa ba na mag-fibronectin test? So, syempre hindi na. Kasi si fibronectin test nga is to determine if mag-e-experience na ng preterm labor yung pasyente. So, yun tatandaan natin ha. Now we go to the immunization. Ano ba yung mga bawal at pwede sa buntes? So, dito muna tayo sa mga contraindicated. All the vaccines that has live attenuated virus microorganisms, yan yung mga hindi pwede. Such as measles, mumps, rubella, varicella zoster, smallpox, and then oral polio vaccine. Ano ba yung hindi pwede? Ano ba yung pwede? Tetanus toxoid, pneumococcal conjugate vaccine or PCV, IPV or inactivated polio vaccine, or DPT or DTaP. No, yung mga yan ay pwede. Okay? Alright. So, pag sinabi kong Sabin, is it contraindicated or allowed? Sabin.
Contraindicated.
Bakit, Wena? What is Sabin?
OPV po.
Ayun, yun ang ginawang vaccine, yung OPV. What about Salk?
Allowed.
Allowed kasi ito ay isang,
IPV vaccine.
ayun, kilala sa pangalan na inactivated polio vaccine. And then punta tayo kay tetanus toxoid, no? So si tetanus toxoid, tanda na naman natin yan, 'di ba? Sige nga, testing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. O sige, sabihin nyo nga sa akin yung percentage na lang muna. 0?
0,
80, 95,
85,
99.
95, 99, 99.
Very good. Years.
0.
0,
3 years,
38,
5.
5,
10, lifetime.
10, lifetime.
Very good. Kailan binibigay?
As soon as possible.
ASAP, after 1 month, after 6 months,
After 4 weeks.
1 year.
After, ano ba? Nawala na yung 3. After,
3.
6 months.
After 3.
After 6 months,
ano
after
pa?
1 year,
After
after
1
1
year.
Ayan, okay. Ayan. So, hindi ko lang siguro nadinig. So, ganyan lang, no? Yan ang tatandaan natin sa tetanus toxoid. Ito yung doses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ayan. So, para makamtan natin yung lifetime, kailangan ilang doses tayo? 5 doses, no? So, what is the dosage given per dose? Pag dosage, pinag-usapan, ilan daw?
0.5
Very good. 0.5 ml. Ang route?
IM.
IM.
Intramuscular. Okay. Ang location?
deltoid.
Deltoid muscle. Very good. Okay. Deltoid muscle. So, pupunta naman tayo sa weight gain recommendation. So, dapat ang buntis ay mag-i-increase ng protein intake, vitamins and minerals. So, kung ano ang kinakain mo, bago ka magbuntis, kailangan dagdagan ng 300, no? 300 kilocalories. So, eventually, magiging 2,500 kilocalories per day siya. Okay, normal BMI, 25 to 35 po. Okay, no, sa normal BMI, 25 to 35 pounds ang recommended weight gain. So, meron tayong weight gain pattern. Tatandaan natin sa pagbubuntis, ma-apply nyo rin to sa pag nag-practice na kayo during your, syempre, pag nakakuha na ng lisensya, pag naging registered midwife na, nagpe-prenatal check-up na, no? Tatandaan nyo, kapag may sudden weight gain, consider nyo yon na baka nag-uumpisa ang pre-eclampsia, sudden weight gain. Okay, so babantayan nyo na ang blood pressure ni nanay. Kapag naman usapang timbang ang pinag-uusapan, tatandaan nyo, ang pinakamahalaga ay ang weight pattern. Okay, ang weight pattern, hindi weight gain. So, ito yung pattern natin on the first, second, and third. So, yung first trimester, dapat 1 pound per month lang. So, per trimester naman, meron tayong 3 buwan, di ba? So, kung 1 pound per month, so 1 pound times 3 months equals 3 pounds or 1 kilogram. Kapag naman second trimester, so 1 pound per week, 1 pound times 4 weeks, times 3 months, 12 pounds naman po or 5 kilogram. And then on the third trimester, so 1 pound per week, pareho lang din ng second trimester, 12 pounds din, okay? So all in all, 27 pounds or 11 kilogram ang makukuha ni pasyente sa ideal weight pattern natin, okay? So the weight gain pattern na normal, 25 to 35 po ha, tatandaan. So, kapag ikaw ay obese, so you are at risk of having gestational hypertension, preeclampsia, gestational diabetes mellitus, having a macrosomic baby, pwedeng mag-deliver ng cesarean delivery, and then other types of complications. So, we go to the essential vitamins. Okay? So, una muna natin si vitamin A or the retinol. So, of course, it is good for eyesight, prevent night blindness and ophthalmia. So, it is the armor or protection against infection. Ano ang mga foods that is rich in vitamin A, fruits and vegetables, yellow-orange fruits and vegetables like squash, papaya, kamote, and egg yolk lumabas sa board exam. Okay, so it's associated with congenital malformation when taken during the first trimester, no? So during first trimester, teratogenic ang vitamin A. Tatandaan ha, kailan ibibigay? On the fourth month na
Fourth
po.
month.
Very good. On the fourth month. Ilan ang dosage natin? 10,000 IU per day. Ngayon, mga ma'am, mga sir, okay, kapag nagbigay kayo on the fourth month pero more than 10,000, ito ay, is it teratogenic pa rin or not? Teratogenic or not? Nagbigay kayo ng more than 10,000. Yes, teratogenic yan. Bawal tayong magbigay ng more than 10,000 sa nagbubuntis kahit na siya ay nasa second trimester na. Okay? So, ang napoproduce by the vitamin A derivative is the isotretinoin or the Accutane, okay? While the beta-carotene naman or the beta-carotene naman, it is the precursor of the vitamin A found in fruits and vegetable and it does not produce vitamin A toxicity, okay? Yung supplement, yon ang nakakakos ng toxicity. Kaya kailangan papalo tayo sa guidelines. So punta tayo kay vitamin B. Okay, so si vitamin B1, B2, B3, B5, B6, B7, B9, and B12. Okay? So si vitamin B1, also known as thiamine, this is for weak muscles and severe weight loss kapag ikaw ay nagkaroon ng deficiency order. So ito ay ang beriberi. Kapag naman ikaw ay kinulang sa riboflavin or the vitamin B2, okay, pwede kang magkaroon ng poor diet and mouth sores o kaya yung tinatawag nating na ariboflavinosis. Kapag naman vitamin B3 or niacin po, okay, pwede tayong magkaroon ng pellagra. So meron tayong 3D sa pellagra. Okay, 3D. Tatandaan natin yan ha. Si diarrhea, si dermatitis, at ang pinakahuli ay si death.
Death.
Yan, okay, tandaan natin yan. Now, si pantothenic acid naman, which is vitamin B5, no? Pwede tayong magkaroon ng paresthesia, so ischemic attacks and multisclerosis effect sa brain. And then, si vitamin B6 naman po or the pyridoxine. So, eto naman, it can cause anemia. So, low number or lack of red blood cells ang deficiency disorder natin. So, si pyridoxine din naman, okay, although meron siyang condition kapag ikaw ay nagkulang sa vitamin B6, so si pyridoxine din naman ay gamot sa nauseous and vomiting, no? Okay. So, binibigay siya kapag nauseous and vomitous si pasyente. Okay? So, and then, vitamin B7 or the biotin. So, kapag ikaw may deficiency, pwede ka magkaroon ng dermatitis, red and itchy skin. So, si folic acid naman or folate, the vitamin B9, kapag sinanay, ang may deficiency disorder, pwedeng magkaroon ng immature RBCs in the bone marrow at magkakaroon ng megaloblastic anemia. Okay? Sa fetus naman, pwedeng magkaroon si fetus ng kapag sinanay ay kulang ng folic acid.
Neural tube defect.
Very good, neural tube defect. Pinaka-common na neural tube defect?
Spina bifida.
Okay, very good. Now, vitamin C, ascorbic acid, bleeding gums and swollen joints naman po kapag nagka-deficiency disorder, and scurvy ang tawag, okay? Kapag vitamin D naman, calciferol, okay, pwedeng magkaroon ng rickets, weakening of the bones near the joints kapag ikaw ay nagkaroon ka ng deficiency. So, okay. So, punta muna tayo dito kay vitamin C. So, si vitamin C or ascorbic acid, ang allowance natin during pregnancy ay 80 to 85 mg per deciliter. Approximately 20% more than the non-pregnant. So, bakit tayo magte-take nito? To prevent scurvy. Okay? So, vitamin C ay ang protagonist ni iron, 'di ba? So, for good absorption of iron and gum health, magte-take tayo ng vitamin C. Okay. So, si vitamin D naman, So it helps your body to absorb calcium and phosphorus. Okay? Absorb calcium and phosphorus, vitamin D, lumabas kay board exam yan. So this is synthesized endogenously with exposure to sunlight. So if the mother who's pregnant has deficiency of vitamin D, it can cause disordered skeletal homeostasis, congenital rickets, and fractures in the newborn. Congenital rickets, deficiency of vitamin D, common board question. Tatandaan na, common board question yan. Now, ano ang ating dosage? 15 microgram per day or 600 IU per day. So, vitamin D deficiency, serum levels of 25 hydroxyvitamin D. So, it also prevent hypertension and prevent osteoporosis. So, si iron naman tayo. Okay? Si iron, 300 milligram transferred to the fetus and placenta. 500 milligram incorporated into expanding maternal hemoglobin mass, and then the 200 milligram is overall for the pregnancy. So, kung 300, 500, at 200, ang total niyan ay 1,000 milligram. 1,000 milligram. So, ilang gram yan?
One.
Very good. 1 gram tayo sa loob ng singleton pregnancy. Pag sinabi kong singleton pregnancy, walang twin to ha. Isang pagbubuntis, no? Hindi multifetal to ha. Single pregnancy. Okay? 1 gram po dapat sa loob ng isang pagbubuntis. So 27 milligram of elemental iron be supplemented daily to pregnant woman. Ano ang ating average? 30 to 60 milligram of elemental iron dapat po ha. Okay, 30 to 60 po, no? 30 to 60 milligram of elemental iron. So, supplied it as ferrous gluconate, sulfate, or fumarate and taken daily throughout the latter half of pregnancy. So, halimbawa naman, 60 to 100 milligram elemental iron naman, para naman to sa mga obese, multifetal gestation, at saka yung nagpa-check up na late in pregnancy, okay? O kaya naman yung nagte-take ng iron irregularly, medyo hindi compliant, or depressed hemoglobin level. Okay, so bakit tayo nagbibigay ng iron or ferrous sulfate?
To prevent iron deficiency anemia.
Yes, to prevent iron deficiency anemia or IDA. So what is IDA? Iron deficiency anemia. Ano ang manifestation ni IDA? Paano mo ma-assess? Pallor, anorexia, lack of appetite, lightheadedness, dizziness, and easy fatigability. Okay? And then, of course, i-check nyo ang kanyang CBC. Kapag ang hemoglobin niya ay less than 12 gram per deciliter. Okay. So, ano ba ang ating non-pharmacological management and pharmacological management? So, liver and organ meats. Sa non-pharmacological management, bibigyan nyo ng pagkain, advice nyo na ito yung mga kainin niya: liver and organ meats, lean meats and red beans, legumes, munggo and garbanzos, kidney beans, green leafy vegetables, kamote tops, or saluyot. Lumabas sa board exam yan, dalawang yan. Palaging lumalabas. Kangkong and malunggay. Okay. Ma'am, paano lumabas tong si kamote and saluyot? Okay. So, pag sinabing sa mga indigent tribes, si kamote tops yung usually na best answer. Baka ibahin. Baka ibahin. Baka hindi kamote tops ang ilagay. Mga anak, syempre, titingnan nyo, green leafy vegetable. Halimbawa, nakalagay doon squash, saluyot, kunyari ubas, ano ba? Kunyari, ampalaya. Ay, hindi. Good pala yan. Ano ba? Squash, saluyot, ubas. Kunyari, kamatis. Yan. O, tomato, grapes, saluyot, squash. O, halimbawa, what is, sa indigent tribes daw po, what is the non-pharmacological management for IDA daw? Ito daw ang option: kamatis, squash, saluyot, and ubas. So, syempre, ang pipiliin nyo ay saluyot. Kasi,
Saluyot.
yes, no? So, di porket sinabi naming mga review center, kaya yung mga nagtututor sa inyo, na eto, lumabas sa board exam. Pag sinabing indigent tribe, kamote taps ang isagot nyo. Okay, so syempre, analyze the question, ha? Analyze the question. Bonus na nga lang yung mga common board question natin na yan. Okay? Ayan, sorry. Okay. So, sa pharmacological management naman po, of course, eto na yung tinatawag natin na magbibigay tayo ng ferrous sulfate. Okay? So, it is most absorbed during the second trimester. Okay? So, 5 months antepartum to 2 months postpartum. So, binibigay natin to sa loob ng 180 days. Sabi ko nga, ilang gram per singleton pregnancy?
1 gram.
1
1
gram.
gram. Okay. So, 500 kay maternal, 300 kay fetal, tsaka 200 sa daily life ni pregnant woman. Now, meron tayong mga forms of ferrosulfate. Yung form of medication, meron tayong capsule or tablet, pwedeng parenteral sa Z-Track, and then pwedeng liquid. Mga anak, tinatanong sa board exam. So, pag tablet or capsule, do not crush or chew kasi usually, ang ferrosulfate ay gawa sa enteric-coated medication, ano, or formation of medication. Hindi nyo siya pwedeng i-crush or chew kasi anong mangyayari? Mai-irritate ang ano? Mai-irritate ang
Ang teeth.
hindi, anak.
Tamak, ma'am.
Hindi po. Ano? Stomach? Okay, ayan. Stomach, very good. Hindi teeth. Excited ka sa liquid pa yon. Joke lang. Okay. So, sa tablet and capsule, tatandaan nyo, do not crush and chew kasi yung mga enteric-coated drug, di ba, na pag-aralan natin sa ating fundamentals, ito ay nakaka-irritate ng gastric mucosa. Di ba? Nakaka-irritate ng gastric mucosa. So, wag nyo siyang ipapa-crush or chew. Tatandaan nyo po yan, ha? Now, so, syempre, bababa din yung effectiveness ng gamot. Now, sa parenteral route naman, we have the Z-Track method. So, Z-Track method is what technique?
Intramuscular.
Very good. Intramuscular po. Intramuscular. Now, bakit Z-Track method? Kasi po, yung ferrosulfate po, okay, ay nakaka-irritate sa subcutaneous layer of the skin. Kaya naman, kailangan, pero siya kasi, directly kailangan sa muscle pumunta. So, paano mo maibibigay sa muscle or maide-deliver sa muscle yung gamot nang hindi naiirita yung gastric mucosa? So, mag-ZZ-track method tayo. Okay? So, tatandaan niya to prevent staining and irritation. Now, next naman po ay liquid. Okay? Next is liquid. So, kapag liquid formation ng ating ferrosulfate, i-offer mo ang straw sa pasyente to prevent teeth staining. Kapag nagkaroon ng teeth staining, bigyan mo ng baking soda. Okay? Sabihin mo, you can brush it with baking soda. You can brush your teeth with baking soda para maalis yung stain. Kapag naman nagsabi ng ayaw ko niyan kasi because of the metallic taste, you offer orange juice. Okay? Offer orange juice. Halimbawa, tinanong sa board exam, kailangan mong mag-offer sa pasyente ng blank para sa good absorption ng iron.
Liquid.
Vitamin C.
Vitamin C, very good. Vitamin C po, okay? Very good tayo dyan. Okay, so yan yung mga tatandaan nyo na usually yan mga tinatanong sa board exam, ha? Lalo-lalo na si iron tsaka si folic acid. Ayan. Okay, so ano ba ang mga side effect ni iron? Okay, so black tarry stool, okay. So constipation, yan. So, pag may constipation and black tarry stool, okay, ano ang management natin? Increase oral fluid intake, increase fiber, and then, dapat active range of motion, dapat nag-ambulate palagi, no, para iwas constipation. And then, of course, kung may constipation na talaga, stool softener, no, or the docosate sodium or colase. So, you have to watch out for toxicity. Okay, toxicity in iron or ferrosulfate, no? It can cause hemosiderosis, or hemochromatosis. Now, ang antidote sa ating toxicity of iron or ferrous ay ang desferal or deferoxamine. Okay? So, kapag tayo ay nagte-take ng iron or magte-take ng iron, wag isasabay yung mga antacids, wag isasabay sa kape or tsaa, tsaka wag isasabay sa gatas or any other dairy products. Okay?